things with a grain of salt. I don't know if anybody else, like, my mom was like, "You were kind of this way before, but since the stroke, you're very, like, literal." Like, in fact, a lot of jokes will go over my head. Like, I'm just so, like, "What?" And so, sometimes when some people if you just say the wrong word, I might be like, and I gotta change that. Like,
And they're like, "Oh, we were really waiting for you to crack a smile." But I mean, and I would say I can agree with that to an extent because it's the processing. Because our processing is different post stroke. Because again, guys, we had our brain transfigured. So what seems to be a joke to you may not quite be because our brain is still trying to catch up to process. Like what they just said. So we may even laugh 5 minutes later or once we left the conversation like, oh, that's what they meant. But in the beginning, you may get the literal face as, oh, really? You were trying to be funny there, but I didn't catch it. So I can agree with that. So that is quite funny because I've had moments like that. And I'm trying to think, do I do it as often now? I probably either I'll overlap or probably under, like I was, and they're like, you're right. I am, guys, but honestly, most of the time I'm still trying to process what the conversation was or what we were just talking about in that moment. So that is pretty funny that you said that. I did want to touch base on something you said. So you were asking about somebody saying they love David Attenborough, who I listened to, and I've mentioned it a couple of times. Mine were I have a few different pastors: Stephen Furtick, Darius Daniels, Pastor Keon Henderson, Reverend Fred Grace, people that I listen to on a regular basis on the different YouTubes that kept me uplifted, kept me motivated, and I just did it on rotation. So it was the internet, getting on YouTube, and I would just go in. Once somebody popped up, or it would be recommendation from the YouTube to a different one. So those were the things that kept me lifted. And they kept my faith going, just kept me pushing because at the end of the day, guys, what got me up out of that bed was the faith knowing that, listen, God didn't bring me this far to leave me here. God allowed me to survive this. So it's definitely something greater that he has for me. I don't know what it is. I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know when things are going to get them moving as I want them to, but I have that faith that I know is going to be better. Where I am today is not going to be my end. So that's what I kept looking for.
Lynn just said, "You guys help me." Thank you. Like, other survivors, especially, like, in the beginning, when people my mom a lot of times, like, "How do you feel?" And I'm like, "I don't even know." Like, I can't even properly express because I don't. Oh, someone said Sarah Jakes. Like, it's
Yeah.
so and also, like, knowing that just because like, I have to hear things sometimes a couple different times. And, like, you start to learn that, like, maybe I wasn't ready, I wasn't at that point to hear it. Like, everyone told me meditation and yoga and affirmations. I used to laugh. I would immediately get a smirk when someone's like, say, affirmations. I'm like, "Oh, I'm capable." Like, I couldn't even say like, I would be like, "Oh, yeah, I'm capable." Like, I thought they
Yeah.
were so silly. And now, like, when someone made me like I sat down and I was like, I cried because I was like, I used to not be able to say I'm capable because I felt like I was broken. But like now I'm like, I am capable. I've had 2 brain surgeries. I keep coming back up. Like
Yeah.
anything that comes our way, guess what? If you're watching this right now, you have a 100% success rate. You're here. Even if you feel like life is kicking you down, you're at the bottom, you're still surviving. So like give yourself a pat on the back because like that you're here. We're here.
Yeah. And I like
Oh,
she said the people around me didn't laugh about my oh no, okay, I gotta tell y'all. So her joke was help my helmet of salvation, which I think is amazing because she had her incident, and I'll just give you the brief, and I may be not saying her full incident all the way around when she had her ABM rupture, but she had an accident on her bike. And so she jokes about it as saying, well, my helmet of salvation protected me. And she was like, the people around her didn't think that was funny. But guess what? That is totally hilarious because the helmet of salvation that God gave you protected you on the physical realm and the mental realm because the Bible says protected by the helmet of salvation, the breastplate of righteousness, all of the above. So she was completely protected, y'all. That's why she's alive today. And if this survivor community not only alive, she's amazing, dude. The artwork that she does, oh my gosh. Like I want to be like you. Like
right?
really,
Like I
one of
can't
these days we're gonna show her this artwork. The artwork that she does is amazing.
just go
Like
follow her
so,
right now. Go over
yeah,
to her page, go see it. But what it's not just the art, but it's like how she's doing it. Like it's therapy. It's so beautiful. And I know everyone says that art is therapy, but like this is really cool. I've never seen somebody else. Like I don't want to give it away. I'm not going to say it like because you need to just go to her page and go see it, but it is when you have that sense of humor. And I mean, I still get people, I've had a lot of people tell me, I don't like that you say that your brain blew up. I'm like, well, it did. When my aneurysm ruptured, boom. I go, well, you tell my neurosurgeon who said it's like a bomb went off in your brain.
Yes.
He said it.
And he did. And it's saying, like, I like to refer to our brain as the computer. So my computer got fried, and then the doctors try to rewire it back together. And hello, when you reboot a computer, it doesn't always go back in the same way it does. I mean, seriously, like it was so our way of thinking, our way of functioning, our way of processing things may be totally different, guys. And we're trying to figure this out. We don't know how it's going to be. So when I tell people, if I'm in the middle of a speech or an engagement, I'm talking and I forget my thought process, some of the times I want to, because I have this other goofy set. Some of the times I want to be like, computer review.
You should. System shut down. Hold on, reboot.
Exactly. Because the process is, guys, that's what's happening. I'll be talking and I forget. And honestly, you know what, guys? Since I just said, I'm gonna start doing that. When I get to when I'm talking and I completely forget, I'm just gonna shut down like a computer robot, and I'm gonna come back up and say, guys, sorry, that was a reboot. Somebody hit the restart button, and now I can get back to what I was saying, because that's literally what's happening sometimes as we're trying to process and as we're trying to live, and then we're walking, we're talking, we're moving our body. So it's like an overload of information coming back into our brains, our body. And our body says, oh, what's going on? It's too much coming on at once. So something may not work how we would want it to at that moment. So that's that.
No, and I know you guys now, like, I just kind of laugh and go, oh, what's that word? And I play it off. But in the beginning, when I was talking and a word would disappear, I would cry. Like, I would literally be talking and then you would see tears go down my face and I would shut down. Okay. So it took me a while by just practicing and realizing, and it used to make me frustrated when my mom goes, I forget words too. And I'm like, but it's different. And when you say it that way, you're like, I'm like, you don't get it. But I know she was just trying to make me feel better. And finally, everybody's saying that. I was like, me making a bigger deal and stopping and going, I don't remember the word, instead of just going, oh, I don't know, and like turning it into a game. And everybody loves to guess what you think you were talking about. Like in any conversation with someone's like, I don't know what I was saying. What does everybody else do? Oh, you were talking about this.
Or you were trying to. and that's, but the thing is, sometimes you might get it. Like, say, for instance, like I was just saying, if I'm in the middle of a speech or something, I need somebody to remind me sometimes, because I may have a complete brain freeze, like for as what I was saying. I will say, she mentioned a couple people. She
Stroke Maven.
And then I also wanted to throw out Neuro Nerds with Joe and Laura. Excellent. So definitely Survivors. Neuro Nerds.
Please go listen to that podcast for sure.
They are excellent to get you through the just real life things coming from real survivors. Like, so their podcast is amazing. So thank you for reminding us of them, because they are definitely amazing.
And Tanya from Stroke Maven said, it takes me a year to understand and adopt a self-care habit. I think that's really important to talk about, that it isn't right away. Like, I talk about journaling all the time, but it doesn't happen every day. Like, it's something that I have to remember that I fall off on, and I know, and I'm like, you didn't start your morning writing out your gratitude and taking the time to actually do that. And you wonder why you got all frazzled later in the day. So like, it doesn't happen right away. And I think learning to have that grace, like Cornelia said, it's taken time, because I feel like, and I'll still catch myself sometimes going, it used to be easier. I used to just get it like that. And I'm like, so what? Like, you're also older. Like, it's not just like.
Yeah, not only just a warrior, we are older. So when it happened, even if it was a month or a year ago, yes, we're older. So our body is changing naturally with time, and then processing having an ailment that happened to our body. So it's like, in reality, it's aged us in a way. And then wait, not to even mention, we also skipped, was it 2 years because of the pandemic, guys? So that's another thing. We actually survived the pandemic, so we have to think about that. that added another 2 years to our life or either took away, because Lord, nobody had ever experienced that in this generation. Nobody ever experienced that before.
Well, and just like in life, like I find my grandma saying stuff like, I don't want to cook anymore. I'm like, you've been cooking for 80 years. No wonder you're over it. Like, give yourself some grace. So I've just learning, I think, more and more, especially in the recovery, to just celebrate the wins and not be like, why didn't I do it faster? Or why am I not better at that? I'm just like, I did it. Woohoo. And like, you know, like my speech before, I would have been like, you need to memorize this and not have notes and not have note cards because that's silly. But I knew, I go, girlfriend, this is your first time telling your story in an audience with a microphone. You're going to blank. You're going to get nervous. You better have your freaking notes. And and it made me feel so good to not be like, oh, but I need to do all this. And I don't know who else needs to hear that you just start learning to be like, you know, I'm showing up and I'm trying, and that's good. That's amazing.
Absolutely. And that's what it's about. And then she did say in the beginning, giving yourself grace. That is what it's about. How Tawnie was just saying, you're doing good, you're doing amazing. But as she even mentioned last week, as she mentions every time we're on here, like, we're so much nicer to other people, and we notice when somebody else is being negative to the next person. But why don't we do that for ourselves? Hey, why am I not there mad at ourselves because we can't remember things? Mad at ourselves because we're not, quote unquote, progressing or where we want to be. Hello, guys. We have to give ourselves grace because we are not where we were the day we had the stroke. We are not where we were the day we had that ailment, that incident happened, when we found out this is what happened. We are progressing every single day. And if we can look back and say, oh, that was my worst moment versus today, because like Tawnie said, if you're on here watching us today, this is not your worst moment. You are 100% better because you're functioning, you're calculating, you're able to visibly see, you're able to sit up and watch and figure out what's going on, what we got going on. Because, baby, the day it happened, no, I could barely even talk. And I'm mumbling all types of words in the mouth, trying to tell the doctor this, and I'm pointing to making all these functions. So we're doing excellent here. We are doing quite well.
So much. I saw, has anyone read the book, The Brain That Heals Itself? I don't think so. I think we should, like, a book list. It's so cool to share.
And the reason I had to give you a minute to think, because I feel like that's in my list somewhere. I don't think I read it. I have books that I've started and I read like few chapters, and so the brain, I'm a check, but I wouldn't say I completely. It must be in my list, but I have not completely read it at all.
So a practice my friend does with me all the time on the phone, and it's helped me, is when I will like beat myself up. She's like, can you be nice to my friend and say now 3 nice things about yourself? And so like, I want you guys to do that. Like, when you catch yourself beating yourself up, like, stop and be like, can I be nice to my friend? Like, I need to be nice to myself. And then say 3 nice things. And like, it sounds silly, but I used to struggle. I could not even say 3 nice things about myself. That's how bad my mindset was, that I was so mean. I was like, I could not give myself compliments. I'm like, and so now I'm like, no, you can easily say 3 things that are nice. The correct title is The Brain That Changes Itself. No, not yet. The only book.
I totally get that one.
Yeah.
I don't know that.
Jim Quick's. I didn't finish it though.
Okay.
Because he had a TBI when he was young.
You said Jim
Quick. Jim Quick, the memory dude who teaches everybody how to have a great memory.
Jim Quick, the name. Yeah. I'll have to look it up to see who that is.
You've heard of him. You've seen him. Yeah, for sure. I know.
Obviously, I need to remind myself who he is, the one that teaches about our memory.
No, it's just really cool, and it really helped me with the mindset, because he used to call himself like the broken brain boy, and because that's what they said to him, like, your brain's broken, like you can't do things, and so he had to like reteach himself and relearn how to do things like a different way. And it's just like really cool that now he's freaking teaching everybody how to have great memory. And I'm like, from someone who as a child was told like, you don't have a good memory. So like, whenever I'm like, but I'm not good at speaking anymore, my college professor said I can't go and get a master's in speech pathology, why could I give speeches? Shut up.
Yeah.
But guess what? You get to speak how you want to speak. Jim Quick.
Yeah, it goes to say, just like our trials that we went through are not always for us. Our trials are not for us to be stuck in that place. Our trials are to bring either us out or somebody else out. So as they told him his brain was broken, he transferred his trauma into healing for somebody else. So So it also goes to say how people say, why we appreciate the joy that Tracey and Tawnie has so much. We appreciate y'all sharing so much. But what I would say for myself, I've learned that the trials that I went through were not necessarily for me. It was for others. It was for me to speak about God's greatness. This was for me to speak about, hey, yes, these are trials and tribulations that happen, and this is how I came out of it. Yes, I'm turning my trauma and my pain into healing for myself and for others, because this world we live in is the unknown. We don't know what this world is going to bring. We don't know what tomorrow's going to bring us. But I'm wanting to show y'all that in spite of all my trauma and my pain, I can still find joy. I still have joy and I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, but I have faith that I'm walking through this journey with God. So either way it goes, listen, my trauma, I'm turning into joy and how to live through it.
Beautifully put. I think we need to just end right there because was wonderful. We'll see you guys in 30 minutes. We do open up a Zoom. If you want all that information, it is in our channel. So it will be dropped in there. We have it every Tuesday. So we hope we can see you there. We're just in there for an hour. And yeah, see you guys over there.
Okay. See you guys over there.
Bye. Boop. And